All right, for our final topic today, for the last video that's going to pop out this week, we are going to talk about wands, magic wands, mostly for Palladium fantasy, for your Palladium games. But I'm just going to tell you up front that while the rules may be specific to Palladium, the concepts here I think can be brought into really any game, and especially any Palladium game here. So let's take a look at this right now. All right. Let's get to the page. I think it's 25-ish. 25, look at that. I meant 25. I didn't want you to replace everything, you jerk. Okay, Palladium Fantasy Wand Magic. Now, I am going to read a bunch of this. It's going to almost be a read-through to some degree because there's just a lot of good background information in here. I'm going to skip the first paragraph. That one wasn't horribly important, but let's start here in the second one. Magic wands are as common as other magic weapons, and once created can be fully used by any other magic class or by psi mystics. A wand can also be used by non-men of magic or by psychics, but the spells will be cast at half the power, decrease the range, damage, and duration of any spell by half, and the person will have to figure out from trial and error the number and types of spells the wand has stored. So I'll be upfront. I like that. I like the fact that, hey, you can use it as a man of arms. You know, your longbowman can go out there and use a magic item, but you're not going to be using it as cool as Mr. Mage down there. Or Heathen Dog the Witch.
Ooh, witches burn for a reason.
A wand is simple to use. All one has to do is concentrate on the spell desired and the target of that spell. The wand must be held and usually pointed in order to cast a spell. The aim does not need to be precise. It's a little auto-aiming. We got a little auto-aiming going on here, okay? Does not need to be precise, but needs to be close. For example, trying to cast with the wand vertically tied to a belt will result in the spell appearing in the caster's face or toes, depending on the facing of the wand. You might not have thought that that was an important comment to read, but I actually thought it was. Reason being is because you'll come across times like, do I have to be holding it one hand, two hands? Do I have to aim it right at them? Do I have to make a target? Or what? Again, might not necessarily be in the rules, but people come up with this stuff. Really aim it in the direction of the thing that you're trying to do, and then willpower effectively takes over from there for a lack of better term.
It stops people from holding the wand but keeping it in their pocket.
Yes.
You know, no.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. The wand created by a wizard is a very personalized item and can be very diverse in its function. The wizard could also choose to increase the power of the wand for the sacrifice of diversity. We're going to talk about that later. So let's just move on here. We're going to talk about what that means, because wands can carry basically so much power, and you can focus them. Some wands are very simple and look like a stick picked haphazardly off the ground. Others are intricately carved or inlaid with various metals, or have bands wrapping around them to increase the aesthetic value to strengthen the wood. There's going to be a caveat to that later, though. Their beauty is only limited by the creator's imagination. That is also something that I thought was awesome. When we look at the wands later, I love the designs of the wands. Creating a wand, wood is the only material which can be charged with magic energy, and the wand is generally no larger than 3 feet in length or 2 inches in diameter. Once created, the wand is permanently charged with the magic and cannot be changed. Wands, however, are not indestructible and are only as strong as the base material used in the construction. Oh God, wait till we talk about crossing the wands, man. Don't touch the tips of the wands. Don't do it. Telling you now. Yeah, don't cross the streams and don't touch wands. Which is to say that for the benefits of the creation of the wand, they have a trade-off of being somewhat flimsy. Note that a wand can be partially covered in metal. There we go. But they cannot be charged or function if more than 50% of the wood is covered, regardless if that metal is gold, silver, or steel. There are a few dangers inherent with wands as well. Breaking a wand will result in all of the magic force stored in the wand exiting in an explosion that does 3d6 damage to a 12-foot area. In addition, physically touching wands together is very bad. For some reason, the magic polarities of wands are different for each, and when brought into contact with each other, mix into a volatile reaction which does 3d6 plus 10 damage in a 20-foot area.
That's not good.
Trying to pump PPE into a spell casting wand should never, italicize, you see that italics right there?
Yeah.
Be done. With the exception of the PPE battery, which we will talk about later. If this happens, a small backlash will occur, inflicting 2d6 damage to the person holding it, and it will permanently burn out one of the spells for a spell's focus ability. That's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. A typical wand will have around 5 to 10 SDC points depending on the size. Remember, it's just a normal item. One that is wrapped or partially covered in metal will have 10 to 20 SDC points. All right. I know there's a lot of fluff, and this is supposed to be an overview, but that fluff was kind of important to get into what we're talking about here. Wands are diverse. Your wand is probably unique. They have limitations. Don't touch them or cross the streams.
Yep.
Okay, we got that.
Don't plug them in. Don't spark them on each other.
Yeah. All right, creation cost. Well, it costs 200 PPE. For those who don't know what that is, that's potential psychic energy. It's what magicians use to power their abilities.
Points.
Mana points, there you go. Plus the PPE required to cast the spells the wizard desires placed on the wand. So whatever that spell is, if you want to put Armor Ithin in there, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. What's it?
10 more.
10 more. So it'd be 210 PPE that you would have to put into that wand. A wand has the ability to hold a maximum of 4 low-level spells. And that's first to fourth level. A wand can be enchanted with stronger spells, but higher the spell, the more room it takes up. I hate that word room, but it makes perfect sense for the description of what they're talking about here. A medium spell counts as 2 lower level spells, while a high level spell counts as 4 low level spells. So let's say this in plain English here. You can have up to 4 low level spells, up to 2 medium level spells, or 1 high level spell. There you go. Now, can you do any combination of that? Yes, you can. You can have 1 medium level spell and 2 low level spells if you want. That's really the only combination that exists.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, yeah.
All right. Let's go. Oops, this is a commercial page. In the alternative, the mage can choose to charge the wand to hold PPE. In this case, so that means you're not putting any spells in there. You're just saying, I want a PPE battery.
Yep.
In this case, if the wizard wants to store 60 PPE, he must spend 260 PPE for the creation of the wand. 200 for the creation, 60 for the number that you want to put in there. Which from that moment will only be able to hold a maximum of 60 PPE. The maximum amount of PPE a wand can hold is 100. No, you are not doing your ritual spells off of one wand. To recharge a PPE battery, the person using it channels the desired amount of PPE back into the wand up to its maximum. So there's going to be a recharge time, coming from you at a later moment. But it's a good burst of energy if you need it. Casting limit. The wand will be able to cast any combination of low-level spells 6 times per 24 hours. If you want to do that 6 actions in a row, well, actually, I don't think you can do that. But if you want to do 6 rounds in a row, do it. But then you're out for the day. If you want to do it once an hour, you can do that. But you're going to be, once you do it 6 times, a low-level spell, so a first through fourth level spell, you can cast that up to 6 times per day, and that's it. Medium-level spells can be cast up to 4 times per 24 hours, and high-level spells will be able to be cast once per 24 hours. So if you have a wand with 1 high-level spell in it, you can, because that's all it can hold, right? You can use it once per day. Additional PPE can never be pumped into a spell casting wand to cast one of its spells. So you can't augment it with your own PPE. You're using it as is. Each casting of a spell from a wand counts as one of the character's hand-to-hand melee attacks for that round. So that answered that right there. Apparently I missed that before. It didn't register. So there you go. You can wand that low-level spell. Pew, 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 pew.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah, click, 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 click. There you go. Power levels. Any spell that has been placed into a wand is cast as if it's by a 4th level wizard, regardless of the actual spell of the creator, and cannot be increased further unless the spell is focused. And we're going to look at a bunch of methods of focusing in a minute. And I'm going to be upfront with you. One of them supersedes all of them. I don't even know why the others exist after you read one of these. A character must roll a 12 or higher to save against a spell cast from a wand.
Which is the base saving throw for a spell.
I mean, it's free magic, so I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah. Focusing. A side effect of this magic is that the wand, like a lens focuses the sun, can be used to focus the power that is being placed into it. In this way, the spell incorporated into the wand can achieve greater power levels. Focusing a spell does not require any additional PPE or energy than explained in the creation cost section. It only takes the space that might otherwise have been enchanted with a spell. When focusing, only one spell in the wand can be affected by that added power. So you can't focus all the spells in your wand. You can only pick one. Which means that if the casting limit for an Armor of Ithyn spell were to be focused so as to double the casting limit, only the Armor of Ithyn spell would be cast 12 times per 24 hours. Any other spell added on could only be cast 6 times per 24 hours. Remember, we went through, you could click, 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 right? Well, with Armor of Ithyn, you can still go, you get Armor of Ithyn, you get Armor of Ithyn, you get Armor of Ithyn. Any other spell, we already did that. However, you can have a focused Armor of Ithyn spell and a focused energy bolt that can both be cast 12 times for 24 hours using all of the space in the wand. I apologize, I misspoke earlier because I was visualizing it wrong. It's just each one takes up its own set of space. That's what I should have. So, do wands count as PPE batteries for Techno Wizard? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is for Palladium Fantasy specifically, but can be brought over into the other ones. So we're not going to talk about Techno Wizards at all.
If you don't have the Techno Wizard book that tells you how to make a PPE battery, you could use these rules to make a PPE battery.
Okay, that sounds fair to me.
Yeah.
Low-level spell casting limit can be increased so as to double the number of times per 24 hours. Okay, so these are the different things that you can do. Now we're going to look at what are the different things you can focus on. So we've already talked about you can double the limit from 6 to 12. All right. Mm-hmm. This takes the place of 2 low-level spells. So 2 slots are taken. So if you have Armor of Ithyn, that's 1 slot. Hold on a second here. That math isn't working. See, yeah. So is it? Hold on. I got to read this a second. Any other spell can be can have a focus Armor of Ithyn and a focus energy bolt that could. So this sentence cannot be right as written.
Really? Because I'm seeing 4. Four total slots used.
Right. So I'm not trying to quibble pedantry here, but so the way you should read this right here is this is the entire spell. So it's not spell plus 2. It is spell plus
the whole
1.
Thing. It's spell plus spell added together gives you double the limit because
but
you're
here's why I don't agree with
kind
that.
of putting the spell in twice.
This is why I don't agree with that. Because if you look at actually all of these, this takes the place of 1 low-level spell.
That's putting in again, but only this time for damage. So using these rules, technically what you could get if you used say like energy bolt or whatever, like level 1 low level spell, you could have that energy bolt in 4 times. 1 for the real spell, another slot for double the number of times per day, another slot for increase the damage, and another slot for increase the range.
Well, hold on. Don't go there yet. Don't go there yet. You're right, but I told you one of these abilities supersedes all others.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that there's a misprint in here. I believe that either this is a misprint or this up here is a misprint. Because the math doesn't add up otherwise.
Sure.
Now, you can increase the range by 100 feet at the place of 1 low-level spell, or increase the duration by 1 minute. Or you can just do this. Increase the damage, range, and duration. Same as above, except it increases every aspect of the spell, double the range, damage, and duration of the spell, and it only takes the spot of 2.
Oh, okay. I see your problem now. Yes. Now, reading everything before this one should say a total of 3 low-level slots.
Yeah, like I said, this is the only one that I think is wrong.
Yeah. That one should read, it takes a total of 3 slots, and then it makes the other ones right. Yeah.
So, what I think the point of this one is just do it all. This is your package deal. So you can double everything. Yeah. You can do all this stuff. So I don't know why you would ever do this. I'm sure somebody out there is going, well, it's character, like Kevin says, it's about character interest or making things interesting. Or maybe you don't need the range because of the way the spell is only touch or something. I guess I get that, but I'm just saying I don't know why you would ever not take this one. compared to the ones above. Now let's go on here though. Strong magic. The mage can increase the magic strength of the wand. For every low level spell that is taken up in this manner, the spell strength is increased by 1. So if the creating wizard sacrificed 2 low level spells to increase the strength on a Cloud of Slumber spell, the character must roll a 14 or higher to save against it. So again, I'm reading this as the spell slot plus 2 others, plus 1 plus 2 for the saving throw. That's how I read this. So
I have a feeling that's not what the person means.
But then it's weird because that means you're focusing every spell then. Every spell has at least a partial focus if that's the case. If it doesn't take anything extra to go from 12 to 13 for the saving throw, then why would you never not have a 13? It's poorly written. Conceptually, spirit of the law for me says that this would take up a total of 3 slots: 1 for the spell, 1 to raise the saving throw to 13, 1 to raise the saving throw to 14.
Yeah.
So,
wait, it doesn't say 13 anywhere. Maybe it's just plus 2 every time.
It's going to increase magic strength for every level supposed taken up this manner by 1. Yeah. I knew it was in there somewhere. I was looking for a number, and I was like, where the hell's the number? All right, security. Let's just go on here. Look, I want to tell folks out there, I think that these are awesome. The idea behind these rules are good.
Yeah.
Just tweak them a little bit for your table so that they make sense.
Yeah.
Security. The creating wizard can make it so that the wand can only be used by certain people.
That's cool.
Yes, I agree. This can be done by placing alignment restrictions or permanently... Oops, where's my...
Permanently writing
the true name, of the people who can safely handle the wand. In this manner, a wizard, this is great for Diabolist. In this manner, a wizard can key a wand so that he's the only one that can use it. Anyone the wand is secured against will receive a shock when they touch it. The shock is 2d6 SDC. And look, your man of arms might pick that up and go, ow, that hurt. But what is 2d6 SDC to a normie?
Oh my God, I'm going to die. If he's not dead already.
My hand's falling off.
Yeah, remember, your hit points are what? Your physical endurance, right? And if you're not classed, that's it. So you're going to average around 11. This could kill the average person just by touching it. So
where are we? Yeah. This feature takes the place of 1 low-level spell. So in my reading of this, spell plus security.
Yes, that's how I read it too.
Level increased. Oh, so because I was kind of mad at first. Really, as a 4th level wizard, what the heck is the point? Increases the spell by 1 experience level. So instead of cast as a 4th level of experience, the spell will now be cast at 5th level experience. This will take the place of 1 low level spell for every increase in experience level. So you can
have 1 spell that's 4, 5, 6, that's 7th level.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's a maximum wand can do 7th level power, and only 6 times a day.
I'm not going to read any of these wands unless you guys really make me do it, because I think it's time to end. Important. But there's something I want you to look at each one of these. I want you to look at the wand.
Okay.
This is a giant finger.
That looks like a giant turd.
Well, it's a finger. There's this little claw, and it kind of looks like a turd, but it's a giant's finger. What's in it? Oh, and it tells what abilities it gives: behemoth, superhuman strength, blah, blah, blah. Here's another wand, Dragon Fang.
Okay.
Old bones right there. Okay, that looks like a femur. What's up?
Yeah. So the wand has to be made out of some kind of organic material, not just wood.
No, it just says wood.
Well, then how can you make it out of a... Oh, no, it's made to look like...
There you go.
Okay, got it. Look like a giant turd. Okay.
Yes. And this right here, like, this is actually not a femur. It's made out of wood. It says that in the description of the...
Okay, good. All right, I'm on board.
So this is a little... I can't really see the art that well here, but this is like a lightning rod. So it's kind of a charged stick.
Sure.
So, and that's it. I mean, that's really all that's in this book.
In this section. Yeah.
That's right. This section of the book. So my point with this, I thought it was an interesting way of putting wands together. I like the look of the wands. They're not just little things with stars on the end of them. I think all of that is great for sparking your imagination out there when it comes to making wands, primarily for Palladium fantasy. But you absolutely can use this stuff either through conversion books or the magic, the Rifts book, not Rifts, but it's the normal version of Magic. I have it. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, the magic books out there, and make your own wands. I think the system is good. They don't overpower wands, but they make them useful, but they have their limitations, and I think that's as it should be. The only question I have is this: can I make 10 PPE wands, put 100 PPE in each one, hug them all, and get 1,000 PPE out of them?
No.
Okay.
Because it said you have to hold the wand. Now, holding it is not hugging it.
Yeah, but the holding of the wand was for aiming it at somebody. It didn't say anything else about the PPE. PPE, I'm just sucking out of it.
Yeah, but it said hold it. There, you have to hold it.
I'm hugging it.
No, hugging is not holding. I'm sorry. It's not the same thing when you're talking about a wand. So 2, I would say 2. Yeah, definitely 2 at once. Sure. Drain it dry. 2 at once. I'd be all on board. But more than that, you're not really holding it, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think it got that deep into saying holding when it literally said that you can have a wand vertical on you. You just shoot it at your toe or your face. So, but with that said, I'm not against what he's saying. I'm putting it out there as just some nonsense argument, because some players don't want to do that.
Is going to try and take advantage of you as a game master, and you got to be ready for that. Like, oh, that's ridiculous. That'll never happen. Liar. It'll always happen because players are only inventive when they're trying to screw you over.
Yes. And, some players can be like, all I have to do is pump this with 10 PPE a day, 10 days. I can do this for like 6 months. I'll just keep popping these things for 6 months. And then I'll go out there and I'll summon the biggest demon you could ever think of. Yeah. Like, wait, what? No.
1,000 PPE? No problem. Check out my bag of wands. You're like, oh, damn it.
Right. So that's the only reason. But hopefully you guys like this. Any questions or any comments and so forth?
They were talking to each other most of the time, but this one is, there's a lot in here on this article. And yes, you're right. I mean, for making wands specifically, not all magic items, just freaking wands. That was a lot. I agree. That seemed to be a lot. And some of it didn't need to be there because like he said, if you can use 3 slots and double everything, why would you ever use 2 slots and double only one thing? I don't get it either. I mean, just make another wand, man. It would be 5th level, use 12 times a day, double range, double duration, double effect, double all it. Yeah, man, I'll just make another wand to do the other thing you want to do. I agree.
And I was mistaken earlier. For the people watching the live stream, we actually did meet our goal. We will have the giveaway. And since we have to do that quickly, unless there's anything else important that we got to talk about, I think we're going to end this video right here and then knock that out on the live stream. So thank you very much. What are your thoughts on the wands? Do you agree with Heathen Dog? You can't hug them, or you should be able to hug the wands? Don't hug the wands. Just in general, what are your thoughts about how wands are made in this? Are there any rules in Palladium that came out after this book was done? I think it was 2002. I forgot to check the date. That actually supersede those rules. I don't know. But you can let us know in the comments. What was your favorite part of that? Oh, I guess that was just wands. Never mind. Wands are my favorite part. But I hope to see you next time. Next week, Heathen Dog is going to be continuing on with more AD&D Second Edition character creation and I think the races. Yep. And I am going to also be covering AD&D Second Edition when I talk about gnomes and halflings, and then I will be back with Palladium the week after. Kevin Shaw won't be here then, where I'm going to talk about fleets of the 3 galaxies.